What's up, everybody? This is DJ Randy P, the Positive One, and you are now tuning to Follow, Then Lead Radio Podcast with Ben and Chris.
You ready, Chris?
You ready, Ben?
Let's get it.
Man, let's get it, man. Welcome to the Follow Then Lead podcast. And bro, we have a special guest on the podcast today. DJ Randy P, man. Wonderful husband, father, brother. You know, this brother's doing all great things out in the community. And you guys give this brother a warm welcome, man.
Welcome, brother. Welcome.
What's up, everybody?
DJ Randy P.
I can't believe I'm on the Father Lead Radio podcast, yo, for real. I'm so excited, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, bro.
Yeah, bro. So just give us a, just a brief history of you, man. You know, who you are. And you know the DJ in history, man. Just give us your story, bro.
Man, listen, I'm very, very simple. I love God, I love my family, and I love music. That's pretty much all. I'm wrapped up just with those three elements, and of course, I love the community. My name is DJ Randy P, the Positive One. My real name is not my government. I'm just playing. Randolph Potter is my real name, but everybody knows me as DJ Randy P, the Positive One. I'm from Groove City, Cambridge, Maryland. Big shout out to Groove City. Big shout out to Groove City and the whole Eastern Shore of Maryland. Big shout out to whole Maryland, B-more, D.C., Delaware, Virginia, the DMV. That's where I'm from. But yeah, I've been a DJ for 39 years. I'm currently a Christian DJ. I've been a Christian DJ since 1995.
Wow.
And I just love the Lord, and I just love my job. I'm just so glad to see y'all doing what y'all doing. You know, this podcast is very, very important. I heard about it online, so big shout out to y'all by posting it. I heard about it on Facebook. And, after listening to your show and seeing what y'all was about, I was like, yeah, you know, this is a good show right here. I thank God I'm got invited to be on, you know. Big shout out to everybody in Boston, Rhode Island. Big shout out to all my family. My wife, Alicia, she's actually from Boston. So that's a great thing. I get to come up here and, you know, chill. She get to chill with her friends. So, but yeah, I started my career in 1980. Well, I got turntables in 1980. I was only 10 years old. And I got Rappers Alike just came out. It hit the world by storm.
Yeah, it
and
did.
I went to a wedding in the summer in 1980, and I noticed the music. It was my next door neighbor, my old babysitter. She got married, and I noticed the music never stopped. I was like, "Why come the music ain't stopping?" Because I grew up in a musical family, and my grandfather was a leader of orchestra, and my uncles had funk bands. So, and I always, had music around. My mom had a lot of records. But I noticed the records never stopped. The music never stopped at this wedding reception. I didn't understand why, but it was like that new style of DJing, which is hip hop, and the nonstop DJing. But I didn't know, and I went by the DJ booth. It looked like they were doing something over by this booth, so I went over there and I noticed it was two records with the same label on it. So I'm thinking, why come you got two records with the two of the same records? But I did notice the music wouldn't stop. So when I was riding home, I asked my parents, could you get me some record players like they got? And this is like the beginning of summer. The day before I started school in 6th grade, like, granted, I'm only 10 years old. My dad is like, yo, come here, I want to talk to you in your bedroom. I'm thinking like, oh, I must have did something. I got to get a beating. You know what I mean? When I came upstairs, he had 2 record players hooked up. No mixer, but just had 2 record players. And I was like, I remember seeing them got that guy DJing that summer. So I'm like, oh, wow, that's what they were doing. So I spent the next, 12 months just blending records. No mixer, just taking one record and blending it with the next one. Kind of like people do now. They do the little blend mixes, but that's what I was doing as I started. Then in 81, I moved into a town called Cambridge. Once I moved to Cambridge, actually before that, I used to like to rap on the mic and break dance. That's what I really like to do. I had turntables when I was in 6th grade, but I really like to rap, you know what I mean? And I thought I was a good rapper until I moved to Cambridge. Then I just ball up my paper and just throw it away because the Cambridge rappers was way much better and more, they had better lyrics than me or whatever. So I like, okay, well, I was the only kid with turntables at the time, so everybody rallied around me on the weekends. And as I spin the tunes, I let them rap. And I ended up being like a DJ by default. But and fast forward a couple months later in 82, in the winter of 82, someone asked me to do a party. So I asked my mom. She's like, "Yeah, you can DJ at the party." She gave me, and I think I had to be home by 11 o'clock. So I'd be home, and I did the party, and the young lady came up to me and gave me $20. I was like, okay, what you give me this $20 for? Now I'm just a kid. She's like, I'm paying you. I'm like, what? Like, you get paid to do this? And, we had been doing it in the park for a whole year for free. So it was like, I was like, oh, snap. So once I knew I got some money, now I can go buy some new records. And my mom was funding me the records at first, but then I just like took control of my own career and started buying my own records. And I would buy a little bit of records. My mom would buy a little bit of records. So now I got a little stack of records. But what shifted in my career was when I was turned 13, my parents got saved, got in church. And then my mom pulled me to the side and said, look, I ain't buying you no more records, no more. I don't want you listening to that stuff. What? So I was like, oh, no. So then it's like I had to, like, fend for myself. So I guess then I became an entrepreneur, and fast forward to now, now I teach people how to DJ, and I'm an instructor and also advocate, or not so much an advocate, but a mentor to a lot of veteran DJs and intermediate DJs, and I get to travel all around DJing as a Christian DJ. But that's kind of how I started. I became a Christian DJ in 96. I got saved the day after Christmas, 95. I actually didn't think I could DJ anymore. I was like, my DJ career is over with, because I didn't have nobody to look up to as far as like being a Christian DJ. Not a mobile one. They had radio DJs, but I didn't know, at least in my area, I didn't know any Christian DJs. So I'm thinking, plus I did hip hop and stuff, and like at that time, it wasn't a lot of Christian hip hop. Not even, if it was some, I didn't hear about it in Maryland, And I was like, this ain't gonna work. This choir music and quartet music, which their music is fine, but when you come from hip hop, you're not really. That's a hard transfer. That's a hard way to transfer over, to that. But I went on and did the transfer because of the fact I love to DJ, and DJing is all about the people. It's not about what I prefer personally. Of course, I preferred hip hop at the time, but you want to hear some quartet, you gonna pay me to play quartet for 4 hours? I'm gonna be there,
No problem.
and that's not a problem, So I kind of like started liking the music, but then after that, maybe like a few years, say like 97. Christian hip hop started getting a little blossom. We had a couple guys from Philly called the Cross Movement. They put out a project, and it was like, I felt like I thought it was KRS-One or somebody in that joint. They were so good. I was like, woo, Cross Movement. Now that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I think I did hear a couple Christian rap songs maybe from the West Coast, but it just didn't appeal to me. But the Cross Movement, when they came out, it was like, tough. It was tough, boy. And it was from Philly too, which is like 3 hours from where I live at. I was like, oh, that's like home, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of like, I skipped a lot of years, but depending on what you ask me, I'll tell you some of the stuff in the middle. But that's pretty much how I got started. Yeah. My love for music and my love for DJing.
Oh man, I'm loving it. What I like most about that, bro, is I appreciate your transition. You transitioning. What I like most is that you're about the people. You know what I mean? You're putting smiles on people's faces, man. You're bringing positive atmosphere to individuals, man, and making their life better. And that's what we all about too. That's what this whole podcast about is, the people. So come in contact with you, hearing your story and how you're just about blessing individuals. That right there, man. That blesses me. Like that keeps me inspired. I like that.
That's what's up.
And so with your, so you said your father got you your first turntables. Yeah. Like, what impact would you say your father had on your life at an early age?
Listen, man, my father, he's my hero, for real. Yeah. Like, I tell people all the time, my father's my hero, because before I started DJing, I was a thief. I used to like to steal. A lot of kids might can relate to that, but when I was 10 years old, I didn't go in no store without getting me a pack of double mint and a Snicker bar. I'm going to at least get me a double mint and a Snicker bar. And everything else is extra, you know what I mean? But I'm going to get it. And I was going down the wrong path, My parents didn't know it at first, but just when we made that transition to move to Cambridge, they busted me. I went into the store. They stopped the 7-Eleven, man. But I had been stealing like a year and something by that time. We went to 7-Eleven, man. I got to get my little gum. They was like, yo, what you got? I was like, I'm good. When I got back in the car, they said, nah, we saw you take this. We saw you take something. So when I got home, my dad got with me. But one thing he said to me, you're not going to be like me. when he was beating me, you know, I shouldn't say that, but
Nah, you
when he was
good.
disciplining me,
You
when he
good.
was
Yeah,
disciplining
do
me,
your thing,
he
man.
said, "Man, listen, you're not gonna be like me." And I'm thinking, what? And now, you know, I'm in the middle getting
Yeah.
like, what you mean by that? He's like, you're not gonna be like me. So apparently he had some issues too, but he was letting me know, nah, you're not gonna be like that. So because I was moving into a new area, I haven't moved. We had moved, but I haven't like socialized with people yet, you know. So I took that day. I said, you know what? I'm gonna stop stealing, man. I'm gonna stop stealing. And then, you know, as I start going to school, people start knowing me for the music, cause me DJing on the weekend in the park. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna focus on that. But that's why I say my dad's my hero. That's only a smidgen of the things he done for me. He built all my speakers. So think about it. I'm a kid. He knew about sound, and because my uncle had a band, they used to hire him to be the sound man. I didn't really know this because I'm a kid. They make me stay home. I didn't go to none of the jams they were doing. But he was a sound man, so he built me speakers with 15-inch woofers, two 15 woofers, and my speakers was taller than me.
Nice.
I'm only 5'2" now, so imagine how short I was back when I was 11 years old. I was probably about under 4 foot, but I know my speakers was bigger than me, so he built me speakers. He gave me all the tools I needed to be successful if I want to pursue this business, you know. And sometimes that's all it takes. You ask if your parents ask you what you want to do, just be honest with them. Say, hey, I like to do this, or try this. I know a lot of times kids stop and start things, but this thing I didn't stop and start. I started it, and I'm still doing it 9 years later. But I would say my dad is my hero, and I mean, I have countless things to share with you. But he also taught me how to pack a car. Now, my first business car was a Chevy Chevette. I don't know if y'all remember that. If y'all remember that Martin scene when Martin was in house party. That was me.
Oh,
that was me.
Okay.
That was me 4 years before that movie came out.
Yeah.
I was doing that.
That's where they got it from.
Yeah. So I'm packing my car one day, you know, go do a gig. And my dad's like, what is you doing now? This is not right. Let me show you how to pack the car. Man, we had so many speakers and records and stuff in this one little tiny Chevette. I was amazed. I was like, wow, you know. So little things like that, you know, he teach me and guide me along the way. And because he got in church, he kind of stopped his old ways, you know. So I got to see him in a different way, you know, compared to when, you know, maybe when he was younger. And he was definitely a street guy, because everyone that I talked to, they say, yeah, your dad was a street guy, you know. So, but he turned that around and flipped it on and made sure I did the right thing. So he gave me all the tools I needed to be successful. He used to help me dub my tapes. I used to sell mixtapes, start selling mixtapes in 82, 82 when I moved to Cambridge. And he used to help me dub my tapes. I didn't know nothing about all that. I'm a kid. I don't really know you're supposed to dub the tape. I didn't even know you're supposed to have a master. I'm steady making people the same tape. Somebody else wanted tape at school. I'm going back making the same tape over again. No, you're supposed to re-record. You're supposed to duplicate it. I don't know. But yeah, he played a major role, and I love him I love him so much to this day. You know, he actually lives now. He lived in Cleveland for 21 years, Cleveland, Ohio. But now he lives so close to me. Now he's like 20 minutes from me. So
That's
I want to see him
Beautiful,
another day.
man.
Yeah.
I like that. Bro, we speak about it quite often, man, that, you know, men think they gotta be out here and be Superman, you know, to have an impact on, you know, the child's life. Like, nah, you know, you hear about your dad, and, you know, well, he is Superman, but, you know, he came and he's giving you words of encouragement, even though it's uncomfortable, whooping you, but he was saying, you ain't gonna be like me. You ain't gonna be like me. That's speaking life over you, man. That's speaking life over your child when you're doing something like that. And then I like how you said he gave you the tools. You know, he showed you the way. You know, just by Father just simply giving instructions, just like that. This man said, "Yo, my dad's my hero." Because now you see the finished product. You know what? You know, you ain't done what you're doing, but you know what I mean.
Right.
You know what I mean? You see the product now, like that seed that was sowed back then. Now look at it growing, man. So, you know, fathers, you stay encouraged, man. Fathers, man, male figures, y'all stay encouraged, man. Just speak life over, you know, your sons, your daughters. You know, give them words of encouragement. Lead, show them the way. You know, and just like this brother here was saying, you'll be the hero in their eye.
It's like we don't realize how much the small details matter, but the smallest details probably have the most impact, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah, over time, yeah. I definitely, when I was getting beat, now get this, I didn't know I was going to turn to what it is now.
Yeah.
But I was ashamed, I was ashamed because I let my parents down. And that's really what the whole thing was, me being ashamed of letting my parents down, knowing I didn't really have to do that. If I could have just asked them, can you give me some money if I can get some gum? Can you give me some money if I can get a Snicker bar? But I was just going down the wrong path, listen, sometimes as a young man, that's what you do. You try to take things, listen, you're growing to be a man. So somewhere in you, you want to take charge and you want to do things on your own without getting help from other people. I think that's a process of being a man. But it's okay when you're under 18 to go to someone else for help and ask for assistance. It's okay. Even when you do get 18 and you get 21, you get 25, if you need help, do it. Go ask for help instead of doing it the wrong way, because it's in us to be the leader, to be the conqueror, to be the warrior, to be the person that's the support system for your family. But sometimes you need people too,
I think like I have to keep talking about it, I guess, in every session, but like for me at 15, I became the man of the house. My stepfather died. But so like what you're saying, I shut off any ability to learn from anybody else because I'm supposed to be the man, because men are supposed to know what they're supposed to know, right?
Yeah.
But not knowing that men are continuing to learn too.
Absolutely.
And so for me, not being able to receive, like, I could have grown so much further if I was just able to, like, hey man, how do I do this?
Yeah.
From my uncles, grandfather, mentors, people I've had in my life.
Yep.
But now at this point, now I'm growing and learning. But the same thing what you're saying as far as the youth, like, just be okay with receiving from somebody, because they're not judging you. They're not looking at you like, oh, you're supposed to know that. No, you don't. I'm not expecting you to know that. Not at 15, not at 12, not at 18. Yep. You're not gonna know what I know at 30. So just be able to receive, like, because I want to help you be better.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Amen.
And then, if you are an uncle or you're call yourself someone's uncle or big brother, it's our responsibility to pour into the younger generation.
I agree.
Whether we want to or not, pull somebody up, especially in the summer months. Summer months, kids are home, not doing nothing, just watching TV, playing video games. Take one of them to work. If you have a business, you're an entrepreneur, take your nephew or a couple of his friends to work with you. Let them see what you do. Mentor them, pay them. All you gotta do is offer some food. Say, hey, look, I'll buy you lunch. Every kid, tell them you're gonna buy breakfast or lunch, you good.
Oh, they get
you know what I mean? They're gonna come with you. You know what I mean?
Give them a few dollars.
And then you give them some jewels on that ride to the job.
Yeah.
You give them a little couple nuggets. Let them think about it. Then later on the next day, you give them a couple more nuggets. But I feel what you were saying because just imagine if you had an uncle or someone pull you to the side and say, hey, I know you the man in the house. You're the man in the house, but I'm going to help you with this process, and do it this way and do it that way. It would have been a major, major stress off of you, because that's how us men do. We feel the stress. Listen, I'm grown. I'm 51 years old, and I still feel pressure. Yeah. I would tell my wife, I guess I'll talk to you about it a little bit later, but I had prostate cancer, but before I had prostate cancer, I went full-time into my company. At the time I went full-time in my company, I knew I was going to do it. My wife knew I was going to do it. Excuse me. But at that time, she lost her job. So now I'm the only person working in the whole house with 2 kids and a wife. And some days, and I was just work full-time in my company. That means I had a company and I had a big job I was working on. So I was working 9 to 5. I'm working 9 hours on the job, and I had my company. So of course my income was much stronger then. But now I took away that 9 to 5 job, and that is just my company. So my income went down a little bit at first, right? And my wife wasn't working. She had lost her job. Some days, y'all, I would go to get in front of my house. I would come home, park in front of my house, and wouldn't even go in the house.
Sit in the car.
Sit in the car. Like, God, what in the world am I going to do? I need help here. And sometimes the pressure and the weight comes down on us, whether we 15 years old, whether we 43 years old. That's how it was at the time, or 44. It doesn't matter. As a man, you feel pressure, but we should never feel too prideful to go ahead and ask someone, for advice. Even if it's an old teacher, if it's your uncle or someone that that's a male, somebody at your job, and as us as older, gentlemen, we should be willing to share our experiences with the younger generation.
Facts. Absolutely, man. And you'll be surprised at how many people want to help. You know what I mean? They want to pass on advice and wisdom. They like, yo, I got all this bottled up. I'm like, who I want to pour? I got to pour this into somebody, man. And so, you know, like my brother's been saying, like, don't be afraid to ask for advice and help, man. And it better helps and assists you in the long run.
Yeah, and I think it's like, just even the communicating it to somebody else, it helps you.
Yeah.
Because the stress is just all in your mind. You're just thinking about it. It's just weighing on your mind. So it's just like, oh, bro, like I'm dealing with this. Then he might just tell me his experiences, and then I feel better. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I listen, man. The best thing about men, the Bible said, men begets men, right? You know, if we go out here and make it our business to mentor someone, you know, go to these boys and girls clubs, make a little drive-by like once a month, you know, like I said, you wean them in with some food. You wean them in with some popsicles or something like that. Come through that joint with some, you know what I mean? Come through there with some goodies, you know, you'll get everybody's attention. You get some goodies, you know what I mean? And that's real. I mean, every young man like to eat. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I kind of strive to do that. Even in my neighborhood, I grew up in a neighborhood called Dorchester County, which is like in Boston,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, you got Dorchester, Cambridge, East
right,
End, that's
right,
all
right,
in Boston.
The whole work. We got it all.
So I guess I'm like cousins to the people here, right? But one of the things we try to do is we try to have empowerment sessions just with the kid. I call it Boss Up. And I have a session, and I tell everybody that if you have a kid who you think might be an entrepreneur or looking in that way, even if you're just talking about selling some water on the street corner, you know, bring them to this conference. It's free. I don't charge nothing. I bring in two other entrepreneurs. We call it Boss Up, and we just teach them the principles of being a boss. But being a boss, some people want to be a boss, but you know, you had to learn how to be a leader before you become someone's boss, right? So we teach them the basic skills of being a leader within their community. You don't have to always be the boss, but you can always be a leader, you know, and pay attention to your surroundings and the people around you and the things that other people are doing. Like, for instance, one of the examples I give is I walk into a room and I just walk right into the room. I have my cell phones in my hand, and I just walk right into the room. This is a Monday morning. Let's do the scenario, y'all. Monday morning, I come to work. I'm the boss. I walk through the room. There's 10 people in the cubicles. I got my phone in front of my hand. I walk straight in the room, straight to my desk, sit down, shut the door. I haven't spoke to anyone. Out of 10 employees, at least 4 of them had a bad weekend. Yeah. So if I'm supposed to be the boss, why come I can't say, hey, how you doing, Chris? How you doing, Ben? You know, and speak to you and try to make you feel comfortable that you're about to come and work in our business that day. And you might say, hey, you know, can I talk to you, boss? You know, I experienced something this weekend. Me and my wife had a bad weekend. You know, give you an opportunity to express yourself. And now you are a boss. Now you are a leader. But if you are stuck on yourself all the time, what kind of leader is that? You know, you have to have a mindset of the people around you, and their cares and their concerns as well as your own. You know, matter of fact, you put those before your own if you're the boss. So that's the premise of the workshop that I do. It's called Boss Up. But basically, I'm just teaching them good people skills. And people, you know, with me, I grew up being a DJ. So how I became more fluent with people is because I play different styles of music. So if I'm playing Hispanic music, if I'm playing reggae music, if I'm playing hip hop, if I'm playing rock music, if I'm playing country, then I have to know about that different type of culture and what the people who like that style of music, what they're like. And that's how I end up growing, being diverse as a person, because I have music, but everyone don't have music. So what I do is I teach people through music, and I just teach people how to be better young men to the community. So that's one of my ways that I give back. But that's just only one way. You know, it's a lot of ways that we can impact our community. You know, and so I'm not sharing with you what I do down in my area, but and I'll get to go do it in other areas as well. Like this summer, I'm doing a summer camp in Florida, in Tallahassee, Florida, like the second or third week of June. and I'm gonna be doing a STEM summer camp down there, acoustic engineering. But every time I go to an area, they always get me to do something else. Rather teach a DJ class or speak to the young people. And as us men, we just have to keep ourselves open. Matter of fact, just put it on your calendar. This week, I'm gonna spend 1 hour helping out another young brother.
That's what's up. Yeah.
And I don't care if he's 5 years younger than you or 10, 20 years younger than you. Put that in your mind, because you always can pour something to someone else. Just want to share that with y'all.
I love it, bro, man. Keep sharing, because we need it.
Yeah.
The community needs it. Everything that you're spitting, people need it. And especially our youth, bro. I do too. I mentor young men from time to time, man, and those that don't, have active fathers in their life. Like, we can't sell ourselves short as far as like what we have to offer to them, man. And it goes a long way. It goes a long way. That's a huge stress relief off of them. That's a lot of pressure taken off of the kid. Just simply going out there playing, basketball. Like, I'm setting time to the side for you. Like, they see that. Like, this individual, this person here is coming to spend time with me. They all in it. And then, it grows into something better.
And sure,
down the road.
And I want to give a big shout to people who mentored me when I was younger. Not only my dad, he's my hero, but my mentor was a guy named Dr. Lane. He was a DJ himself. He was definitely older than me, and he was my mentor. He used to let me come over his house every weekend. He lived down the street from me, and I used to just stay there all day making tapes. He had a boatload of records. I had a little bit of records, but he had a boatload because he was a grown man, and he was DJing in clubs, so he had to have those as his tools. But he used to let me come over his house on Saturdays. I match my records up with his, and I make tapes all day long, all day. I mean, to the point where I won't even eat. He used to be like, "Yo, you need to eat something." Nah, I'm all right. And, but he poured in me, and that's why I always salute him and another guy named Mike Bryan, which was the most majorist DJ in our area. His name. He's the one who brought the style from New York. He brought that hip hop style from New York to Maryland in the 70s. And his name is Mike Bryan. He had a crew called NYCS. But they mentored me by just let me see them spin, let me be around them. One time they needed some speakers, and I had the big speakers, so they used my speakers, and he was like, "You can mix too, what?" So I got to mix with him, so that was a encouragement. Then he not only mentored me just because of music, he mentored me in life, but Dr. Lane, he really, really spent a lot of time just grooming me, as a young person. He even went on a couple gigs with me too. He's a grown man. He didn't have to come, gig with no little kid. You know what I mean? I guess he was trying to make sure I was good. You know what I mean? I think I'd ask him though, because I probably was nervous, but at the early stages. But I do want to say this too, y'all. Transparency is the main thing when you're mentoring. I don't care if you've been incarcerated. I don't care. Like I said, I used to be a thief. Share that with the kid, like my dad told me, you're not gonna be like me, you know what I mean? And that impacted me. I didn't even realize how much it impacted me till now, but I know it put a shift in my mind, like, I can't be doing this no more, you know what I mean? Let my parents down. But when you go talk to these kids, be transparent. Let them know where you come from. I'm not even saying you gotta tell them every single little detail, right. But tell them things that that they might be going through or might be thinking about going through, like gang banging and stuff. You used to be a gang banger, you know how bad it is. Let the young people know that ain't cool. Which is there's a lot of people out here that was gang bangers or that was a part of a gang. They're letting people know after they got out of it, But that to me, that whole thing starts from us as men not showing our young men love. Majority of those who are in gangs come from a broken home. Whether they had their parents there. Now, sometimes you can have your parents, mother and father there, but if the father won't spend no time with the kid,
that's true.
He gonna get love from the guy on the street.
That's true.
Then he gonna give him more love. He gonna give him some money. Yo, what's up, shorty? Come here. Yo, let me give you $10. Let me give you $20.
Let me teach you the game.
Yeah, let me teach you the game. You know what I mean? First he wings them in with a little bit of money. Go get something for me. Go down to the bodega, get something for me. I got $10 for you. So now they weaning you in. Next thing you know, you doing work for them. You don't even know it. Go get that package. Go down there and get this package for me. I'll give you $20. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, us fathers or us mentors, when we lacking in the young boy's life, somebody else becomes their mentor, someone else becomes their hero, and that's where it all starts. We looking for someone to be our hero, or someone to show us love, and if we don't get it, And then that's how we end up getting into these gangs. Not high percentage. I'm not saying every person, because some people have went into gangs that have mother and father and had good parents, but they just chose that life. But 9 times out of 10, it's a broken home. They don't have someone mentoring them. Nobody taking them with them, you know. Take them on vacations and
Absolutely.
listen, yeah. It don't cost much. Listen, I'm one of the cheapest. My sister told me I'm one of the cheapest. I said, why come you think I still had that Chevette when we was younger? She said, cause you cheap. You had money. You ain't just didn't want to go buy another car. You cheap. I said, you know what? You might be right. But I have visions. Of what I want to do with my career. So I knew just getting a new watch or new gold fronts and some Jordans, that ain't gonna get me nowhere with my business. You know what I mean? I'm trying to flip my money back into business.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I was really cheap when I was young. They didn't understand that because they weren't entrepreneurs. Yeah. But and then it's a lot of kids. Get your kids and roll them in a STEM program. Everybody don't want to play basketball. Everybody don't want to play football. Some kids are intellectually stimulated. Those things stimulate them. You know, math, science. That's what stimulates them. You know, I'm not athletic, and I got a degree in electronics because I'm not athletic. So I went the other way. I went to I wouldn't say the smart way, but I went the
just the
intelligent way. Yeah,
you did your thing.
Yeah. So that's what ended up with me. But I had music always in the forefront of everything I did. Anyway, so I only had like one electronic job. I was sitting in the room with all these, I call us geeks. Sitting in a room with all these geeks. I'm looking around, what in the world? I can't be doing this for the rest of my life, soldering and all that stuff, man. I like DJing. So that's kind of how I made it a career. But, that's just a couple nuggets, we was going to share. Be transparent. Let the kids know where you come from. Be real with them, Some of the best mentors is, mentees grow because the mentor was real with them, So that's going to share that, with everybody listening.
Oh, man, do y'all hear these gems and nuggets and wisdom being dropped? Oh, man, I hope y'all got your pad and your pen and you jotting all of this down.
So I know you said you've had great mentors and your father's your hero. What are some of the characteristics that you learned from them or they instilled in you that kind of molded you to be who you are?
Well, one thing was I'm a giver. My mom loves to give. She'd give everything she had to somebody. So I grew up seeing my parents. I pretty much grew up probably about the whole majority of my life, we had someone staying with us. Because my parents were just like, you see somebody homeless who need a place to stay, they let them stay with us. But one of the things I learned was my mom was so giving, she would just do things to give. My dad, he wouldn't say much until he got to his boiling point. Then he ready to kick everybody out and stuff. So I said, when I get older, I'm gonna help people, but I'm not gonna let it get to my boiling point. If I feel a certain way along the journey, I say, hey, Chris, look, I know you stand with me, Chris, but I noticed you ain't taking your trash out. I start speaking to the person all during the way and then give them a chance to hang their own self in front of after I spoke to him, you know what I mean? But my dad, he would hold it in. But at the last minute, he'd be like, yo, you gotta get out of here. So I kind of I got a little bit patience. I grew patient, but I learned how to be firm, from my dad, for seeing my mom and dad, how they was operating. I've learned how I'm actually probably, it's crazy to say this, but this is true. In my family, they looked at me. I'm like the leader of the family, and I'm not even playing. Like when my parents and stuff talk to me, it's like I'm the parent and they're the kid. But it's because of the principles they instill in me. It made me be a confident leader. Even now, I have a business. It's a small business, but I don't see myself no different than a big business. If you own the Hilton hotels and I own Revive Sound Production, what's the difference? You just got to generate more income than I do. We both got to write the check to the employees. Right. We both got to have our paperwork. We both got to pay taxes. One might pay more than I do, but at the end of the day, the buck stops at me. I'm the leader. I'm the head of my company, and so I think. So the things they was instilling in me early on gave me confidence, and allowed me to do music, allowed me to be diverse with people, being with different ethnics of people, and this is very important too, sir. Ben, my father is a carpenter by trade. He could have said, "Yo, put them turntables away, come out here with me, we're gonna build this house every weekend or whatever." But instead of doing that, he showed me some things in carpentry, like he showed me how to build speakers and stuff. But he didn't make me do everything he did. He seen that I had something that I like to do, so he fueled what I like to do, you know. And I give my dad a lot of credit for that, because he could have very easily said, "You're not gonna make no money from doing no music. What you think, you're gonna be the next Quincy Jones or something? Nah, you know what I mean? You need to learn this trade. You need to be a carpenter, do what I do. Your objective, I mean, your not objective, but your set of courses, you're gonna get a job working for somebody." He didn't tell me that. He gave me the tools so I could be an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? And I can control my own destiny. And that's what I thank my dad for. And he ended up having his own business as well. But when I was a kid, he didn't have his own business. He worked for somebody. Mm-hmm. And that could have been my destination if he had made me go that route. But he didn't make me go that route. He let me, even when they got in church, they still let me DJ secular music and do my thing. But they could have been like, "Nah, we in church now. You ain't DJing nowhere." You know what I mean? And a lot of parents, look, some people grew up in the church in the 80s, 90s. They couldn't even go to the prom. They couldn't go to no basketball game, no movies, no none of that. You know, some of the early Christians, you know, in the 80s, they were strict. You know, they were strict. You couldn't do nothing. But my parents didn't do that to me. You know, for better or for worse. You know, but maybe they should have cut back on some things, but they didn't. He didn't make me do what he seen that I had a passion for something, and he just groomed me, let me groom in that. So that's one of the major things that I got my parents instilled in me. They let me be me. Even now as I'm doing this interview, y'all, I have my shoes off. You know why I got my shoes off? Because my parents taught me just be me. And to me, I like to take my shoes off no matter where I go. You know, when I'm out DJing, they know me. Everybody know me as the DJ to take his shoes off. I take my shoes off quick. But it gotta have clean socks though. That's true. And listen,
no holes,
I'm conscious for that. What was it, a couple weeks ago I was DJing in Philly. I said, "Oh man, I gotta change my socks, because if I know I'm probably take my shoes off later on, so I put on some black socks so they won't see no. You know, sometimes you at the hotel,
marks,
you in the hotel. Sometimes your white socks get dirty out of the fault just being in the hotel. So I said, let me switch up to these dark socks. So just in case I take my shoes off, I get a little happy. But you know, that's something my dad did. He let me be me. He shaped and grew me, but he let me be me, and he didn't make me do what he do. There's nothing wrong with teaching your kids the things you know, but let your kid be who he gonna be, because every kid is gonna be different. You know.
I like that, man. That is all dope stuff. I have a question for the man that's out there listening. How would you define manhood?
You want me to go or Ben?
No, that ain't for me. This is for you, bro. This is all you.
That's how I gather my thoughts.
John, just in your own words, do your thing.
I define manhood as being over 21 and holding up to your responsibility. So if you're a young father, if you want to be a man, you should own up to your responsibility. I have a kid. I need to provide for this kid. I'm not gonna let no other man provide this kid. Yes, me and the mom may not be together. She might have moved on in life, but I'm not gonna put the burden on another man. That's my kid, and I'm gonna own up to it. So I think that's what manhood is: taking hold of your responsibilities. Whether it's just at your job, whether it be in your family, whatever your responsibility is to do, you do it. And that's what I feel what manhood is.
That's hot. I like that responsibility. Can't knock that.
Just like Ben said, when he was 15 years old, he was the man of the house.
Yeah.
What made him the man of the house? He got to take those responsibilities on of being wherever he had to do. I don't know what are some of the things
he had to work.
Yeah, he had to work.
It was the choice of whether, like you're saying, he had the choice where young father has to decide whether he's going to take care of his child or just go out and do his thing. And it was like, Ma, can I play football or do I got to work? And she was like, it's up to you, but, we need the help. I was like, well, I can do both. She was like, nah, choose one, because that's a lot of stress. I look back at it.
Yeah.
But so I chose to work because I know, like, all right, I got to help, So then I've been working since I was 15 and a half, probably 16.
Yeah. And then that's years taken away of having fun.
Just being a young kid.
Let me give y'all a good example. Michael Jackson. He was faced of growing up way before his time. He had to choose work before having fun. He became so popular that he couldn't just have regular fun. He couldn't just go out to the park And if you go out to the
Could be a
park, there
kid.
could be 100 girls on them, jumping them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Couldn't be a kid.
Adults too.
And, yeah,
Crazy.
and adults
Crazy,
too.
yeah, too.
So
That's
by
right.
the time he got older, they're like, why in the world this guy got a Ferris wheel at his house? Because the guy never got to experience being a young. He never became
Have a child.
He never
had no
developed.
child kid.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, you know, having a child is very important, you know. Same thing that happened with you, Ben, happens to a lot of families, you know. And, you know, it's not no easy fix of how to correct that. But I can say this, you know, us men should take on a responsibility so that don't happen. Now, in your case, your father passed away, you know, right? You said-
Oh no, he well, my stepfather's
Stepfather, okay,
my
yeah,
father
stepfather.
was deported, so
right,
he was
right.
you know,
And your stepfather, he passed away. So that's kind of why he got put in that predicament. But you know, you owned up to it. You wanted to play ball or you wanted to do sports, but you know, you looked at that's our DNA. We look at the bigger picture. We was like, you know what?
Yep.
You just man up, you know. And then also, this is one thing. Like me and my wife, we only been married for 8 years, but before I met my wife, she was my friend, and she has a son. And one day I called her. It snowed. It was like a snowstorm. It snowed. I said, "What you doing?" "Oh, me and Sarai, we out here doing snow." I said, "Well, where's Caleb at?" "Oh, he's in the house. He don't know how to do it right." "What?" Shit. I said, "Man, put Caleb on the phone." I said, "Bro, listen. I don't care if you don't know how to do it right or not. Your mom and sister is not gonna be out there pulling no snow, doing no snow."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You get him out there. Y'all come back in the house and get him to do it." And he's mad. She's even getting mad. "Why you make me do that?" I'm saying, "Listen, babe. I'm gonna help you understand something. The kid is only like 9 or 10 at the time." I said, "When you 23 years old, you just graduated from college, and you beat this man of your dreams. It snows outside, and now when he's not gonna
Right.
want to do the snow because his mom told him he don't have to do it. Him and his sister, him and the sister went and do it. I ain't never had to do. My mom never made me do snow. Mom gonna do it now. If you're a grown woman, you ain't expecting your husband at 23 years old talking about he ain't gonna shovel no snow.
That's right.
It's gotta start somewhere. So we gotta groom these kids. When they kids, we gotta groom them into becoming a man, little bit by little bit by little bit by little bit. So when they become a grown man, they be worth something to another woman. You know what I
He's
mean?
not a sorry.
He's not.
He's not
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not big shout out to my son Caleb. I'm not trying to pick on Caleb. Big shout out to Caleb and Alicia and Sarai. Big shout out to all my family.
Thanks.
But that's a fact though,
It's
you
a
know.
fact.
And I was letting her know, no, we got to groom him now, so when he get older, he'll be about something for the kid, for his wife or whatever, his family.
For himself.
Yeah, and for
Right.
himself
Like-
too.
Oh,
Yeah, I taught my
absolutely.
kids how I teach strategic planning. And if you're not familiar, those listening, if you're not familiar with that is, businesses come to me and give me their goals, and I make a strategic plan of how they're gonna achieve those goals. I sat my kids down in high school and said, "Look, what you want to be, what you want to do. You want to go to college? Here's your assignment. Give me a list of all the colleges you want to go to. Give me a list of all the cutoff dates when you can apply for your application. Give me a list of how much applications are and whatever that went to going to college." My daughter came to me. She had a whole poster filled up with all the deadlines, all the schools she wanted to go
Nice.
to. I was teaching them how to plan and how to be think ahead and not just think of the presents, you know. And I taught my son that too. So here's a story with my son. He wants to get a car. This is about around this time, about around May. He said he got his license. Said he want to get a car. I said, "You want a car? How much you want to pay for a car?" He said $1,500. He just got a job. I said, "Well, how much you make every week at your job at least? Now, how much would you be willing to save every week when you job?" He said, I would like to save $100. At the time, he was working at Sonic, so he got paid every week. He said, so $100 every week, he would do it. So I said, all right, let's count 15 weeks, because 15 times 100 is $1,500. So his time was supposed to be September, I think the 10th, 11th, or something like 17th, 14th, or something like that. That was supposed to be from the time that we started, $100 every week until it get to $1,500. When it got to summertime, I think around August, he had not only saved up more than $1,500 in August. He was that much on his grind. Before his date that he was supposed to get the car, he had bought himself a car on his own. Before the time that we was set it out, the 15 weeks, he did it. But I put him on a course of strategic planning, of having a goal and fulfilling that goal. You know, I think he must really want the car, because he was like, "Yo, I got that money, yo." He
Yeah,
was like, "Yo,
that's
we got."
what's up.
So my wife we had to go out and take him look for a car, and he bought the car. I think he paid like $1,500, $1,300 something for a car, and it wasn't a bad car neither. I thought
Nice.
I was thinking to myself, "You gonna need at least about $2,500, bro, to get a decent car," you know. But he did it. But that's what I poured into. I poured them what I knew. I knew how to do strategic planning. I know about math. So that's what I poured in my kids. And the things I didn't know, we sent them to a STEM program. We sent them to some after-school programs, you know, to let them learn the things that we couldn't teach them, you know, and to keep a balance in their life. So those are things you can, you know, do to help with your kids, you know, and help them become a man. So he asked me what manhood was. So
Yeah, man. All good stuff, yo. That's hot. That's hot.
You got another question?
No, not at the moment, bro.
So what, on top of that, like when you teach your son, or your sons, right, or your children, like things about manhood, like that are important. I know you just mentioned strategic planning. You showed them stuff about like what you've learned and developed, like some of the like characteristics, I guess, that you want to instill in them.
Honesty. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your spouse or your family around you. Just basically expressing yourself. One of the issues we had, I have a blended family. My wife had 2 kids, and I didn't have any kids at all. But I mentored some of the other kids, so they're my kids too. But they had a problem with sharing their feelings. So one of the things I try to do is open the door so you can share your feelings. So when I'm around my kids, I share with them the way I feel. Trying to get them to loosen up, with my wife as well. Try to get them to loosen up. Now they just share things. I used to tell them, I don't care if it hurt my feelings, just tell me if it hurt my feelings. Now they be really like, something hurt my feelings. They don't come with malice though. They don't come with malice, but it's like, you know, my son, he's still reserved, so I had to get it out of him. I'd be like, you know, like say if I say, hey, Caleb, can you go, one day we came home, I said, hey, you know, we hungry, can you go get a pizza? For us. Now, you know, he's my son and we done fed him a lot. He got a job. So I'm like, okay, you know, go to pizza. So he was like, you know, he was slow to say, yeah. I said, what's wrong? You don't feel like getting no pizza, do you? He's like, nah. He said, can I wait till next week? Because I got my money set aside for something for this week. But next week when I get paid, I'll be able to go and treat y'all to dinner, what he was saying. But I opened the door so he can talk to me. Before that, he would have been like, yeah, I'll go get it. And be mad because he went and got the pizza and not express how he really felt or took money from something that he wanted to do, trying to make me happy as a dad. But no, I want you to express yourself. Tell me how you really feel. I could see by his face that he really want to get it. But I want to know why, because, you know, we done bought them pizzas all night long, you know, kids. So now I'm like, but I knew it was a reason why he looked a certain way. And he was like, nah, well, you know, I got some money saved up to do something. But next week when I get paid, I have a little extra money. We can go get that pizza for y'all, you know. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But little things like that, being transparent and being not afraid to express your feelings, those are key things of living life, you know, and being happy, especially when you have a family. I'm building my kids up so they can be good for the community and for good and be a better family than me and my wife. Me and my wife, we had 2 different type of relationship. I had my mom and dad my whole life. She didn't have her mom and dad her whole life, you know. So we put those 2 together. You know, my parents, my family, they really loving. Like if we have a disagreement in my family on my mother's side, it's like my wife said this. She told somebody this a couple weeks ago. I don't know how they do it. Like they could be mad at each other in 1 minute, the next minute they huggy, lovey-dovey and everything. Like, but I grew up where if we expressed ourselves. So once you express yourself, then you're good. Then, you know, you got it out, you know. Ben, man, listen, I ain't like the way you shut that door on me a while ago, Ben. You know what I mean? I got it out. So now, boom, we back love again. When you said on my bag, I ain't mean to shut the door in your face.
Because I didn't even realize I did it.
That's right. That's right. A lot of misunderstandings is because you don't really. And then it could be where the person did that day at work. The boss might have slammed the door in his face, and then you come home, and then your brother do the same thing. Now you snapping on the brother, but it ain't even really the brother for had nothing to do with it. Is you still mad about what happened at work? You know what I mean? And these are things like that. But if you don't talk about it, express yourself, then it can grow into something bigger. So our family, and you know, on my mother's side, we got so much love, you know, and like I said, my mom's a giving person, so I've experienced so much love and giving all my life. It's like, and you know what? My nickname, I don't know if I said it earlier, but my nickname in the street is the positive one. So they call me DJ Randy P, the positive one. So I didn't even really, someone else named me that. So I guess I spent a lot of my life trying to be positive. trying to own up to what I'm called. Even before I got saved, one of the reasons why I got saved, because I wasn't too positive. I wasn't thinking positive. I wasn't thinking. I was like, you know what? I ain't thinking right now. I ain't acting right. I'm supposed to be the positive one. I ain't even, look how I'm acting. Look how I'm doing behind closed doors. It was convicting me. You know what I mean? So someone gave me a positive affirmation, put an affirmation towards me. They spoke into me, even though they didn't speak to. It wasn't a happy situation how I got called the positive one. It ended up working in my favor because now I'm trying to own up to what I'm being called. So stop telling your kids they dumb. Stop telling your kids stupid. Tell them something else. You're the smart. You know what? You kind of smart, man. You know, instead of saying they devilish. Saying, you know what, you kind of smart. I see how you trick your sister into getting that chicken bone out of it. You know what I mean? I see how you got that piece of chicken. You kind of smart. Keep telling the kid he's smart, then he gonna believe it.
He's gonna believe it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I heard a story recently. It was a story basically about this kid that was so-called dumb, and he took the SATs and had one of the highest scores. And then after that, he went on to be really intelligent guy, started a big business or something, very successful. Years later, they go back and realize that the SAT score was wrong. And so he had one of the lower scores. But the only thing that was changed was his belief in himself.
That's right. He thought he was smart.
And he thought he was smart, so then he became smart.
Yep.
Hell, that's crazy. Huh?
That's crazy.
He tried to live up to that title he had.
Right.
Look at that. Oh man, I'm at to find that article.
Yeah,
like
they too. Yo, they got me going, man. Yo, this is a lot of good information, yo. I'm learning on the fly while you brothers are dropping good stuff, man.
Yeah, so I know you mentioned earlier about recently being diagnosed with prostate cancer, and can you talk about how that impacted you as a man in your life, your marriage, your family, and just where you are now?
Yeah, back in 2019, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. It was, anytime you hear the word cancer, you know, it just changed your whole life, your whole perspective. But what was happening was I kept using the bathroom a lot at night. Like when I go to sleep, then I wake up in the middle of the night, got to go to the bathroom. And I couldn't understand why in the world I keep waking up. Before that, I was diagnosed as being diabetic, but I beat it. But one of the side effects of being diabetic is going to the bathroom a lot. And I was drinking a lot of water. So I substituted all of my, when I was drinking sodas and all that stuff, I started drinking more water. And sometimes I was drinking at nighttime. So because I was drinking it at nighttime, it was making me have to go to the bathroom, overnight. So that's what I'm thinking. So when my friends was like, yo, you go in the bathroom a little too much. And, he said, you should get checked out for prostate. So by very next time every year I would get a physical in January. When I did my next physical, I said, why don't you check me for prostate too? So the woman calls me back. She didn't say nothing about the diabetes situation because I had beat it, but I was still like want to hear my A1C reading. She's like, no, I'm calling you for something else for your for your PSA. It's slightly elevated. I said, well, what did that mean? She said, well, it's supposed to be no higher than about a 4, and yours is a 4.6. So once you come back in 8 weeks, and we'll see how it looks. When I came back in 8 weeks and took the test, down it went up to 6.8. So now that's 6.8, something 6.4, something like that. So now we know that's a problem. It ain't. It's 6.8. I'm sorry, 6.8. So now she's like, okay, well, you should get checked out by a urologist. So I was like, okay, and went to them. You got to wait another 2 weeks to get or whatever long to get that appointment. I go and he said, well, look, you could have cancer or you couldn't have. You might just have an enlarged prostate. So just see what it is. So I took a little biopsy, which that is like the worst, y'all. If y'all ever, that's the worst thing, man. I don't even talk about it, man. That's bad.
Yeah.
But they did the biopsy and come find out I did have cancer. But it was at stage 2, so they caught it in time, and it was still in my prostate, so it didn't spread in my body yet. So now I got to wait another 2 weeks to tell them how I want to treat it. The treatment could be taking it out, or getting it removed, or getting radiation. Now, I was only 49 at the time. I'm like, you're not gonna take it out, all right? Don't take my prostate out. So I said, I think I got a little bit more life in me. Yeah. And all men, y'all know what I'm talking about. So I said, okay, well, let's do that. So now I gotta wait another 4 weeks to get a shot. The shot is a testosterone shot where they take away your testosterone. and that's powerful of its own. So after you get the shot, you got to wait another 6 or 8 weeks to start the radiation. So now it's summertime. So now I'm all summer long walking around, entertaining every day with something in my body that I don't want. So that's a mental thing of its own. You know, you don't want it to spread. I guess it's somewhere in my mind, I'm thinking just the way I move might make it spread. Just shaking your body left to right, maybe it'll come out and spread. But it didn't, though. So I ended up getting the radiation, and that took 9 weeks, y'all. That means no matter where I had the DJ at, I had to be back in Maryland by 8 o'clock every morning for 9 weeks. So if I came up here and did this show up in Rhode Island or Boston, up in this area, I had to go right back to Maryland to be to radiation. So that kind of affected me as far as my business. I was still doing jobs, but I had to hurry up and rush back to get back and be home to the radiation place. So that was kind of a mental situation for me. So after 9 weeks, I was able to ring the little cancer bell, and I was finished the radiation. But then they gotta take a month to see if it worked. So you don't even know if it worked after you done went 9 weeks, going every day for 9 weeks. So after about a month, I went to get a test, and they said they took it out. I mean, they said that the radiation took the cancer out. So that was in 2019 in December. So every 6 months, I had to get tested. So I done had like 3 tests since then. I just had a test a couple weeks ago. I'm still cancer free, y'all.
Praise God.
You know, praise God. But after I found out the first time I was cancer free, I still had to get another shot. Yeah. So now my testosterone gets knocked down again. You know what I mean? So I'm literally like over a year with my testosterone down. You know, and that was very, very impactful for me because even during the pandemic, when the pandemic hit in 2020, you know, I was still had my treatment. I was still going through my treatment of having no testosterone. So, you know, little things was making me cry. I'm sensitive. My wife said my attitude is changing. Some days I'm aggressive. Some days I'm soft like a teddy bear. She's like, what the world's going on? But the shot that when a man get his testosterone taken away, man, it's serious deal, boy. Wow. But I went to the doctor. I even went into, y'all, listen, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I even went into depression because when the pandemic hit, I'm a full-time entertainer. I entertain every day. I do 2 to 4 gigs every day. So when the pandemic hit, now I can't entertain every day because there's nowhere. I can't go to no venue. I can't go to no nursing home or daycare. All the places I entertain at every day. Can't do no weddings. Can't do no parties. So now I'm just sitting home like, you know, with the testosterone down, just sitting home, eating and just looking crazy. So we went to the doctor in August. My wife, she had to tell the doctor, I think he's getting depressed, doctor. You know, I think he's getting depressed. He was like, what? Like, yeah, man, you know, I'm going through, man. So, and every little thing you could think of, it magnifies. You know, when for us men, y'all, for all the ladies out there, men, you take away a man's testosterone, you know, a man has more testosterone than he has hormones. But if you take away that testosterone, now you have more hormones than testosterone. Now that takes away our, and now we not as. That's
real.
And when I was like that, that means I really was mad about something like. But it took, you know, a lot to get me there because my testosterone was gone. But you know, after we talked to the doctor, he put me on some medication. I don't know. It's something in your brain that it can be triggered by just the sunlight, but I'm indoors most of all last summer, so he's like, "Why come is that should be low? That's your level is low. That shouldn't even be low in the summertime." So he knew it was a problem, so he put me on some medication, and after a while, man, my testosterone. I had my last shot. My testosterone started coming back. You know what I mean? So now
starting to feel balanced.
Yeah, I feel balanced. I told my wife, man, I don't even feel like a man right now. What in the world? I don't feel right. You know, I'm the man, but I don't feel like it. You know, because I had too much. I had less testosterone and too much hormone, but you know, that's all reversed now, and I'm back to my normal self. So I thank God for healing, boy. I'm telling you, it could have been worse, man. I talked and I had a mentor. He actually, he didn't get his prostate. He was like 6 months ahead of me. So he had just found out too, but he was like 6 months ahead of me. He was around my age. There was a lot of people that could be my mentor, but everybody was like in their 70s. And here I'm in 40, 50, 49, 50. You know, it's hard. I ain't saying I wasn't listening to those with 70, but you with 70, that's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
at my age, I want to talk to somebody my age, you know. And I just got married. I've only been married for 6 years at the time. So I'm like, man, you know, like I need to talk to somebody that's more on my level, you know what I mean? And so with my mentor, his name was Michael Robinson. Big shout out to Mike Robinson. He's from Delaware, and he became my mentor, and he just guided me along the way, you know. And it just goes back to, you know, what we're really talking about now, you know, having a male figure in your life. Even though I'm in my 50s, I still needed a mentor. I still needed somebody that I could talk to that was a male that can identify what I'm going through. And he gave me a lot of nuggets of what to do and what not to do. And he was not too long found out himself, but he was ahead of the course than I was. And he chose a different way to get treated too. So I was just listening to everything. And even to this day, we still communicate because he continued to share with me his journey, and I share with him mine. So, you know, really, no matter how old you are, you can benefit from having a male mentor, you know.
Sir, that's right. That's right, man. I want to give you props, bro, because you went through a battle. You went through a battle, man, and yo, you came out victorious, came out strong, came out better. You know, you didn't get defeated by it. You know, you had your moments, you had your slip-ups, you know, but that's all of us. But, you know, you get knocked down, you know, you got right back up. So, bro, I want to give you props for that, because that's major. That's
God, though. That's God.
Yeah.
Have y'all ever heard of a book called Draw the Circle?
No.
It's a Christian book out called, I wouldn't say it's Christian, but it's a book out called Draw the Circle. I don't even forgot who the author is right now, but Draw the Circle. Basically, you put all your issues, you draw a circle, and you put all your things that your issues are, or that you're having an issue with or whatever, you put it in the circle, and you offer that circle back to God. I did a circle last year, Lord. I had 12 things in the circle. Like I had so many things. I was like, man, I didn't know I was going through this many things. I had to offer it back to God, and that's how I'm able to get to where I'm at now. Yeah, some things you do need male mentorship, but sometimes you just need God too. So I had a mentor, and I gave my situation back to God, and that kind of took the stress off of me, giving it back to God. I think that day, and listen, I had the book, and I had read some of the book like 5 or 6 years earlier. It was someone else, another man, who came to me and said, hey, I see you going through. You should try to read this book. I said, man, I got that book. And it reminded me of the principles in the book, the things that God was sharing. And I went right back to that book, and I drew my little circle, put my little issues in there. I said, look, God, this cancer stuff is out of my control. I can't handle all this. It's too much. Me losing my job, you know, my business, not making no money. I just can't handle it right now. I got to give it back to you, God. You got to do this thing. Now I'm like the most optimistic. My wife, even to this day, my wife still worried about certain things a little bit here and there. I'm like, man, listen, like we're trying to move. Every week I'd be like, man, we move. I don't care what it look like. We move.
That's right.
If that's what you want to do, we're gonna do it. We're gonna move. I'm not looking at what it looks like now, but I'm just saying, God give me that hope and that encouragement. I wasn't thinking that way, you know, this time last year. You know what I'm saying? I was like defeated. But, you know, offering it back to God, you know, gave me that freedom in my mind to say, hey, you know, this ain't my burden. This is a God burden. God, you take care of it. You know what I mean? So I encourage everybody that's listening to this broadcast, you know, get a closer relationship with God. You know, he can take the burdens right off your shoulder, man. You go crying to him, he'll take it away from you. You know what I mean?
Amen.
100%.
Amen. I agree with that.
So we have this segment called, you know, hashtag Who Am I? Right? Right, where we define, we just kind of give off, you know, who we are. We explain who we are without like our accomplishments, but just who you are underneath, like what makes you you. So if you could, you know, say, who am I? And then go.
Who am I? I'm DJ Randy P, the positive one. Who am I? I'm a man who loves God. Who am I? I'm a man who loves my family. Who am I? I'm a man who loves music and the arts. Who am I? I am a man who is dedicated to empowering the community. That's who I am. I am DJ Randy P, the positive one.
Love it.
That's powerful.
Love it.
I felt that.
The positive one, it reminds me of like Rakim.
There we go.
Yeah, Rakim.
That's Rakim.
Whoa, man, you put me in the same category with him. What
Just
in
the
world?
way you say it, just the flow. It reminds me of Rakim.
Yeah. I could see that.
Woo,
I could see that.
Yeah.
I might not have been a DJ if I could rhyme like him. That guy can spit, boy.
Yeah, man, he's nasty.
I like that, man.
Thank you for listening to the Follow Then Lead podcast. You can reach us on social media at
The email is followthenleadinc@gmail.com. Instagram, Follow Then Lead Podcast. And our Twitter is Follow Then Lead P. Until next time.
Take It Easy.